Hiya, so a lot of you have asked me for a lay down tutorial, so this is what I'm going to do. I've actually started teaching Dexter to lay down at my old yard, but then kind of just stopped until we moved to the new one. So when we revisited that chapter at the new yard, he kind of had more idea of what I was asking him to do. So this is the first ever time I was starting to teach him this. So you can see me trying to get to walk him in a little circle whilst I'm tapping his belly with a whip. So the tap of the belly with the whip is actually the cue that he's got for his lay down. So the purpose of this is to recreate the natural way of how they lay down. So I'd ask him to walk in a little circle for me and put his head down. And at the beginning, that's what I would reward. After you have his head by the ground and him walking in a little circle, you're looking for him to tap the ground with his hoof. So when he does that, I would reward him for it. So the next step after pulling the ground, like you can see in this video, they're supposed to bring their back legs under themselves and go down on their knees, and that's pretty much them laying down then. So in this video you can see he offers me a bit more than just bringing his legs and he goes down, and that was his first ever lay down on the cue. So when he's finished rolling, you're gonna see me rewarding him for it. For this, I've actually put some water on his back just to encourage him to go down and lay down, as this is what they do naturally. And then after this, your horse pretty much knows the cue how to lay down, but it's just up to them if they feel comfortable enough to do it next to you, really. So this is the second time that he's laid down. He didn't actually have any water on his back then, but he was a bit sweaty as we've only just ridden. So after this, I kind of just stopped teaching the lay down because he didn't really want to do when he's not wet or sweaty, and because it was November, it was really cold. So when it got a lot warmer, you can see here I've wetted him and asked him to lay down, and he pretty much does it straight away. So because he would go down and then he would go straight back up, I started trying to give him a treat whilst he's actually laying down. Just to keep him laying down a bit longer and to make him understand that this is what I want him to do. So you can see here he's actually understanding that I want him to stay down for a bit longer. So he lays there for about 5 seconds before he actually gets up. I was probably wetting him and asking him to lay down whilst he's wet for about 3 weeks. And then I started asking him to lay down without him actually being wet, because obviously I don't want him to lay down on you when he's wet. So because I knew he lays down in the field straight away after he goes out, I would take him into school and ask him to lay down before turning him out. So this is pretty much how I've taught him. He doesn't always stay down for too long, but obviously that's to be expected because they feel really vulnerable when they're laying down. So if they hear something or something spooks them, they're not really gonna want to stay down for too long. So I just tap him on the belly now, and he pretty much goes down anywhere where I want him to go. He does actually prefer to lay down flat instead of laying down kind of sort of halfway. So this is something we kind of need to work on. You just kind of need to be consistent and just keep doing it, because I know there's some people that if the horse doesn't do what they want them to do straight away, they just kind of give up on it. But yeah, like I said, I spent about 2 months teaching him this properly. So with Trafford it was a little different because he doesn't like the whip, so I had to use a different method. And also at the beginning he didn't feel comfortable doing it on the lead. So I would do, as you can see on the video coming up now, I would reward him every time he'd go down on his own in the school. So it didn't matter if he didn't stay down and he went up, but I'd still reward him for it, just to let him know that behaviour is something that I want him doing. I would also have Trafford kind of just free roam in the school whilst I was working with Dexter, just to make him feel a little bit more comfortable. And what I realised was that whenever I asked Dexter to lay down, Trafford would go down too. So seeing this happen, I decided that whenever I work with Dexter, I'm going to add a little vocal cue as well. So I would say the word down whilst I was tapping him on the belly, and I'd make myself quite loud just so Trafford can hear me as well. So on this video, I've asked my friend to ask Dexter to lay down whilst I was holding Trafford. And this is literally right after Dexter has got up. Trafford decided to go down, so I rewarded him for it. And he's actually done it a second time as well, which they're going to see in a minute, which he offered without Dexter laying down the second time. So you can see here, he's decided to do it right in front of the camera. So this is what we've been doing for a while. So whenever Dexter would be laying down, I'd be holding Trafford and asking him to lay down too, using just the vocal cue and my body language. So I would just lower myself and kept repeating down until he would go down. So the next step from this was completely unintentional. So my friend was just working with Dexter. We was trying to get him over a pole, I think. And I was just sitting on the ground whilst holding Trafford, and he was kind of just making his way around me, and he just laid down. So obviously I didn't expect this, but obviously I rewarded him for it. So since then I decided that I'm going to try to lay him down by myself. So what I would do, as you're going to see on the video, I would just sit down on the ground and let him walk around me whilst repeating down. So since then I'd make myself a little bit taller, so as you can see on this video I've stood up now, I'm not sitting on the ground anymore, and this also gives me an opportunity to go up to him and give him a treat whilst he's still laying down, as when I was sitting down it was a bit long because as soon as I would stand up he would get up as well. So now we're kind of at the stage where I ask him to lay down, and then I feed him loads of treats whilst he's still down to make him feel comfortable laying down next to me. And the next step from that is going for me to try to get on him whilst he's actually laying down. So that's what I've been doing the past couple of days. So I've been pretty much just stroking him all over while he's actually laying down. He looks quite happy laying down actually. So this is how I taught both of my horses. Both of them required different methods, because it pretty much just depends on the individual horse what works for them. But yeah, if you have any questions you can message me, I'm happy to answer them. And yeah, thanks for watching.